Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping straight into the CIS controls.
Yep, the Center for Internet Security Controls, a really practical set of best practices.
They started back in, 2008, and now the SANS Institute helps guide them with lots of industry input.
Exactly. And they've evolved. Version 8, the latest one, really shifted focus. Less about just managing devices, more about securing specific tasks or activities.
Which makes sense, right? With cloud and everything, one device can be doing a lot.
Precisely. Securing the activity is just more adaptable, and they actually streamline things a bit down from 20 controls to 18. Fewer safeguards, too.
Okay, but these aren't just pulled out of thin air. There are core ideas behind them.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They're designed to align with other big frameworks. Think NIST, HIPAA, SOC2. Makes life easier if you're juggling compliance.
So they speak the same language, sort of?
Sort, yeah, and they aim to be measurable, clear language. Crucially, they're based on how attackers actually operate. Offense informs defense.
Practical stuff. And focused.
Focused and feasible, things you can actually implement.
And it's tailored too, right? These implementation groups, or IGs.
Right, that's key. IG1 is like essential cyber hygiene. Good for smaller places, limited IT. Just need to keep the lights on.
Okay.
IG2 builds on that. For companies maybe with dedicated IT, sensitive customer data, where, a breach would be bad for trust.
Got it. And IG3.
That's for organizations with deep security expertise, handling really sensitive data, lots of compliance rules, and an attack there could be, significantly damaging.
So for our deep dive, we're tackling the first 9 controls, the foundational layer.
Exactly. Let's get into it. Control 01, inventory and control of enterprise assets.
You got to know what you have to protect it. Simple as that.
Pretty much. Physical stuff, virtual machines, cloud instances, all of it. You need that list.
Like make, model, serial number, end-of-life dates, that kind of detail.
Yep. Visibility is everything. Where's your sensitive data? On that server, on those laptops, you need to know.
And the tricky part is stuff that connects sometimes. Guest networks, maybe contractors.
Huge challenge. So the safeguards push for having that detailed inventory, yes, but also using tools, active scanning, passive discovery to find things, even unauthorized stuff.
Okay. Controller 2, software inventory, same idea, but for applications.
Exactly the same principle. Operating systems, apps, drivers, firmware sometimes, you need to know what's running.
Why is that so critical? Patching.
Patching, definitely. Also, managing software that's no longer supported end-of-life stuff is a big risk. Tools can help check versions, patch level.
And things like allow listing.
Yeah.
Only letting approved software run.
That's a key safeguard, yes. Block everything else.
Right. Controls 03, data protection. Now we're talking about the information itself.
Yeah, managing data through its whole life, from identifying it, classifying it, public, internal, confidential, sensitive.
Which depends on the industry, I guess.
Totally. Then mapping where that data goes, which apps touch it. That drives your retention rules, access controls, how you encrypt it, how you dispose of it securely.
So data classification is sort of the starting point there.
It really informs everything else you do to protect it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, Control 04, secure configuration, setting things up right from the start.
Default settings are usually built for ease of use, not security. So this is about hardening.
Hardening, like removing junk software, closing unused network ports.
Exactly. Changing default passwords, disabling services you don't need, using established benchmarks like the CIS benchmarks or NIST checklists as your guide.
And using firewalls, intrusion detection, all that jazz.
Yep, and maintaining those secure settings over time, monitoring for changes.
Got it. Control 05 is account management, usernames, passwords.
All types of accounts, regular users, admins, service accounts. You need an inventory, strong, unique passwords, MFA where possible.
MFA, multi-factor authentication, that extra check.
Vital. And disabling accounts that aren't used anymore. Especially admin accounts, they need tight controls. Separate accounts for admin tasks.
Okay, which leads nicely into Control 06, access control management.
Right, so 05 is about having accounts. 06 is about what those accounts can do.
The principle of least privilege. Only give the access someone absolutely needs for their job.
That's the core idea. Need to know. This means managing permissions centrally, having processes for granting and revoking access when roles change.
Role-based access control helps with that.
Definitely simplifies it. And again, MFA is stressed for any kind of privileged or remote access.
Okay, on to Control 07, continuous vulnerability management. Sounds continuous.
It really is.
Yeah.
Attackers are always finding new weaknesses or using old ones. You have to be constantly looking for vulnerabilities in your system.
Scanning, assessing the risk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Using scoring systems like CVSS to prioritize what to fix first. Patching operating systems, applications, it never really stops.
Right. Control O8. Audit log management. Keeping records.
Yep. The logs of who logged in, what files were accessed, system errors, network traffic. Incredibly important for spotting trouble, investigating incidents.
Compliance too, I bet.
Oh, absolutely. And just understanding what happened if something goes wrong. You need to collect them, store them securely, sync the time across systems, and actually review them.
Not just collect dust.
Exactly. They need to be usable. Centralizing them helps a lot.
Okay, last one for today. Control 09. Email and web browser protections. Protecting the user, basically.
Pretty much. Email and web browsing are, well, the main ways attackers interact directly with your employees. Phishing, malicious websites, dodgy attachments.
Yeah, common entry points.
So this control is about using up-to-date supported browsers and email clients, but also technical controls like filtering dangerous websites or URLs.
DNS filtering. Blocking bad domains.
Yep. Blocking risky file types in email, maybe restricting browser extensions, making it harder for the bad guys to get through those common channels.
Wow, okay. So those first 9, they really cover a lot of ground, don't they? From knowing your assets and data to configuring securely, managing access, finding flaws, logging, and protecting users.
They absolutely do. They build on each other logically to create that solid foundation. It's a very structured way to approach security.
So as you're listening, think about your own setup. Which one of these 9 feels like the area where maybe a little more focus could give you the biggest security boost right now?
Yeah, what's one step you could take based on these foundational controls?
That's your thought for this week. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.